Good morning and thank you for watching Echo News. Today we talk about Nigeria and international reaction to the announcement of President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's been some 48 hours when the INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission of Nigeria, decided to award President-elect Tinubu his certificate of return, and there have been so many reactions. Top list of Obi Ezekwesili, one-time Minister of Education in Nigeria. She said, "Don't worry, everybody. The certificate of return will soon be returned." Oh, that was a caption all over the world. Well, let me allow my colleagues to say something. In the studio, I have Bidi Nana from Lagos, Nigeria, who will be telling us what is on the ground. Good morning, Bidi.
Good morning, Dr. Shegu. Good morning, everyone in the studio, our viewers all over the world. Good to have you here again today.
Thank you. We have in Toronto, Canada, George. Sir George, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Johnson. Good morning, Bidi, and good morning, viewers from around the world. Welcome to our show this morning.
And in Milan, we have Mark Godwin. Mark, you're welcome to the program.
Good morning, Dr. Shago. Good morning, BD. Good morning, Sir George. It's good to see you guys.
Morning.
And you guys are still smiling, even with all this problem in Nigeria. Wow.
Well, smile.
It is called suffering and smiling. That's what Nigeria has been described as that.
My pastor once told me smiling is a therapy, and
Yes.
that is why we all smile as a therapy in Nigeria.
Smiling.
Well, before we look at international reactions, which we want to dwell on today, we want to know the situation on the ground. Bidi, can you just summarize for us how the Nigerian populace have been accepting the presentation of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the next president of Nigeria?
The Nigerians have not accepted the announcement of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the APC presidential candidate, as the president-elect. Why I say that is this: in a country where about 75%, I don't want to over-exaggerate it, about 75% of the citizens are saying, "You are not our president." You see people all over social media, even in WhatsApp, they're still addressing him as INEC president, and they still address P2B as our president. So Nigerians have not truly accepted him. But you know, some people have come out congratulating him, telling Nigerians to accept it. You know, it is our culture. We, the Nigerians, we know how to settle for anything. We have this mediocre mindset or spirit. Yes, what can we do? We have that culture, we have that attitude. And that is what everybody is trying to, put in place now. But the Gen Z, the new Nigerian youth now are saying, no, we are not accepting it. 2-3 days ago, even yesterday, they went to the streets. But Obi and some Labour Party members have kept pleading to their conscience, talking to them, don't go to the streets. We're not going to be violent this time around. This is our country. We're not going to shed blood. We are going to go to the courts and we will get our mandate. Now, Obi Ezekwesili has made that statement. And a lot of Nigerians keep saying, the judiciary has always been the problem of Nigeria. How are we sure that they will change now? Because they will tell you judiciary is the hope of the common man. But over the years, we've come to realize that they're not actually the hope of the common man. Just today, about 7 states has gone to court asking to cancel the election. Now, another major thing that has been happening in Nigeria is this.
7 states. What do you mean 7 states?
7 states in Nigeria that have gone to court to call for cancellation of this 25th election. Yeah,
but states do not contest election.
Pardon?
States do not contest election.
No,
individual.
7 states. Yeah, individual, but different group from states has gone asking for INEC cancellation of the election. Now, the major problem we are facing in Nigeria now is intimidation. mainly from the ruling party, APC. They've been intimidating people. Do you understand? And the intimidation is really getting serious, majorly in Lagos State. They've been intimidating people on 1st of this month. On 1st of this month, they went to the markets, they went to the streets, beating people, destroying people's goods and shops. Majorly the people from the south, it's the Igbos. And that intimidation has been strong in Lagos State as of now. They've been intimidating them, they've been harassing people, telling them they are going to make them leave Lagos State. And they've given them warning. There's a threat going on. They said, if you don't vote Sowolu, that's PDP, in the next coming election, they are going to kill you. They're going to send you out of Lagos State. And it's a very serious thing. And I begin to wonder, now during the 25th February election, somebody like MC Olomo was on a polling unit, openly threatening people, telling them, if you're not voting for APC, you don't come to this polling unit. And that if you dare me and vote for a party that is not APC, I will so dealt with you. And he made do of his threats. And we have another man of God who has been threatening Igbos to leave Lagos State. And all these people has been parading the streets of Nigeria.
What's the name of this man of God?
Does he have a name? His name, but his video is online trending. Nobody has called these people for questioning. Nobody has made any statement against them. But the Nigerian government, the ruling party, APC, we are quick to say they are going to arrest Pastor Paul Eneche because he said this election was fraudulent. They said they are going to arrest Dilo Meleyepi for saying that they rigged this election, that Obi was winning this election. So now, from everything you can see that we actually have legalized lies in our society, we have legalized thuggery, we have legalized criminality in this country. And this has been what they have given us for the past 8 years. It shows that we will continue on this.
Okay. Thank you very much for making it plain. But I just want to ask you one question quickly. The threats you said they were making Oluomo and the rest of the thugs, do you think it has cut through the non-indigenes of Lagos?
Of course, it's a particular indigene. You know, anytime anything happens, their focus is always on the people from the south.
Yeah, the question is, are they going to accept it, or they are just mere threats? We all own Nigeria together, all of us.
No, you can't say it's mere threats. No. I disagree to that. You can't say it's mere threats. If it's a mere threat, on Monday, on 1st of this, and they went to the market, they went to Balogu, they went to Ladipo, they went to Timota, and they destroyed some of their shops and their goods.
And they were looking at them destroying it, and they folded their hands. They didn't react. Is that what you're saying?
They have arms. No, they tried to fight them, but they have arms because they were prepared. These other people did not prepare. They were not expecting it.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thank you very much. Sir George in Canada, what have been the reactions of the international world? I have a few myself, but let me hear from you. Have you, as the Canadian government, reacted, the American government? Please tell us in that area.
You know, most of these international countries, especially the developed worlds, what they try to do mostly is to quell what they call, they don't want any type of problem erupting in the nation. Therefore, quickly, most of the time, what they do is to try to congratulate the president and all that. But that, nonetheless, there are so many international observers actually have said that there were many flaws and irregularities, regarding the election, and that even Australia, there was a newspaper in Australia recently that, just quoted that, a drug dealer in Nigeria has become the president of Nigeria.
I think that was
a lot
Austria.
of flaws and irregularities. Austria, yes. So, and what is happening also is that many people are talking, even from England, why did Chatham House host all these people, including Mahmoud Yakubu, who came there and lied to the world that there will not be any type of irregularities, that this will be transparent, fair, and just election. So you see that trickling right now from all over the world. And the people are knowing that this is actually unfair. And so they're listening to everything that is happening. And so many people are, a lot of countries have called to congratulate him, but yet underneath all those, they know what happened, and there's so many irregularities, and they're talking about it quietly. But when it explodes, I believe that's when you see all these countries that will now rise up to start making the kind of comment they're supposed to make. But presently, the governments themselves usually are very quiet and listening. From Canada, we haven't had anything that I know of, unless it's happened that I don't know whether it happened or not.
Thank you. Let me just say a few things before I ask Mark to tell us what is happening in Europe. There's this report here. Look at how Nigeria was congratulated. The US and UK governments on Wednesday sent congratulatory messages to Nigeria's president-elect Bola Tinubu while acknowledging alleged irregularities in Saturday's polls. They put in quote, "Congratulations to at official ABAT on his victory in Nigeria," UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak tweeted. So the Nigerian president-elect was congratulated on a Twitter. I mean, it is that bad. He expressed immediately after that first line, he expressed his willingness to work with Mr. Tinubu to grow security and trade ties, opening up opportunities for business and creating prosperity. Now, you can see that the Nigerian respect has been downgraded, that the next president is being congratulated on a Twitter, and it says that the UK-Nigerian relationship remains strong, he said. In a separate congratulatory message, UK Foreign Secretary James Cleverly commended Nigerian voters for their participation, patience, and resilience in exercising their democratic rights. He added, "We note the position of opposition parties on the election outcome and the concerns expressed by observer missions and civil society about the organization of the process, including delays and technical challenges. Now, it appears that the international world community, they recognize the challenges and the negatives of this election, but will, like George said, will never be seen to be promoting anything that will incite the people. Now, it is left for the people to judge themselves. The United States is even more tacit. The president of the United States has not, as far as I know, congratulated his counterpart elect in Nigeria, but it was a member of a team, the U.S. Department of State spokesperson, one Ned Price, who congratulated Mr. Tinubu and all political leaders on the results of the presidential election. He described the election as competitive and representing a new period for Nigeria. Now, he even went on to notice that the three candidates was the leading vote getter in 12 states, to a remarkable first in Nigeria. Now, what that means is that the president-elect has been downgraded. I mean, their counterparts do not even find it important to give a call to write openly with the logo of their country. That is the level this president-elect has been downgraded. Everybody is trying to mind his own dignity and integrity, not to be stained by whatever might come out of these. Macmillan, what is the reaction of Europe, Italy, France, Spain, Belgium? Please tell us.
Yes, you said it all, Dr. Shagun. It's not how it's done. This is really something else. Normally, it comes in a more official way. Whereby in Europe, what they did was there is a group of international observers that came together and gave their own assessment, and they said there's serious logistic problems, violence, and slow publishing of the polling station results made the voting. African largest economy and most populous nation, Nigeria. They also said that parallel counts by civil society people said that they think the All Progressive Party, the All Progressive Congress, or APC, had substantial lead over Atiku, but the Labour Congress had more voters' reaction. So I think what they are trying to say, they did, like you said, they don't want to spill out the words, but they all know what they were trying to say. So election observers from different parts of Europe and ECOWAS urged candidates in the election to also calm their followers. That's one thing we are also hearing. And you said it all. America spoke through a spokesman and not through the way it should be. Now, the only person that has spoken loud and clear is Emmanuel Macron of France. And he didn't really say it like that. He just used some words. Presently, he's on a tour visit to Africa. And if things were really right in Nigeria, he should have started that tour from Nigeria, because he took off on Monday, a day after the elections. But he's going through another way, and from the other side, sending message of congratulatory message to APC leader. So the honest truth is the international observers don't want to incite violence. They don't want to create a situation where they will say it's them that started this. So they are all using diplomacy and a little bit of being cocky to put out their information. Thank you.
Thank you, Massive Mark. The international organization put together to watch this election, they have a long name, IRI for short. It says this was their report, and this was what they call their preliminary report. On election day, I'm quoting them, logistical failings caused late openings across the country, creating tensions, and the secrecy of the ballot was compromised in some polling units, given overcrowding. Although the application of new electoral technology aimed to increase integrity and efficiency on election day, challenges in the electronic transfer of results and their upload to a public portal in a timely manner continues to undermine citizen confidence of crucial moments of the process. These logistical challenges, together with the scale of electoral insecurity, were foreseeable and avoidable. I'm quoting them. They said all of these problems of the beavers were foreseeable and unavoidable. Were foreseeable and avoidable. Failure to address these issues prior to election day was a missed opportunity. Moreover, voters' trust in the process has been considerably shaken by INEC's lack of transparency about the cost and extent of election day challenges. The combined effect of these problems disenfranchised Nigerian voters in many parts of the country, although the scope and scale is currently unknown. Now, this is what the international body that was given to look to oversee and report back. This was their report.
Can we see a little clip of them, the international body, all together?
Please let the studio roll it for us.
The mission noted that, despite the much-needed reforms from the Electoral Act of 2022, the elections still fell well short of Nigerians' legitimate and reasonable expectations. Voters' trust in the process has been shaken by INEC's lack of transparency. There were numerous missed opportunities to explain the cause and extent of election day challenges. The combined effect of these problems disenfranchised Nigerian voters in many parts of the country, although the scope and scale are currently unknown.
And while elections are a vital part of the process, it's the work that will happen next that truly determines the future success of this democracy. Nigeria holds the distinction of having one of the world's youngest populations. It has the largest democracy on the continent and one of the most populous democracies in the world. And so the credibility of the electoral process has a wide-ranging impact, not simply for the continent of Africa, but it has global meaning.
End of the election process, so we're not in a position, we don't want to interfere in any way in the political process. Our methodology is very clear in this regard. We make our observations, we answer questions in these settings, and we stand over the findings that we have were able to put in the public domain in this fashion. But we won't interfere in the process. It's a matter entirely for the Nigerian authorities to determine the way forward. If there are challenges that we identify, it is down to the Nigerian authorities to make their decision about how they wish to proceed with those matters. I want to thank you for your cooperation, for other civil society organisations that, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, provided us with a very warm welcome and with clear information which helped us to form the assessment that we're sharing with you today. Noted that expectations as the way the technology would transform the transparency of the election, those expectations were not met in a significant number of cases. The operation of the BVAS machines was not, it was significantly impaired in certain areas. We noted the operation of IREV during the course of the evening wasn't what was expected. We noted that in some instances the offline uploading of results onto BVAS machines was not done systematically. So there were other issues that we noted, and but we don't do them on a polling unit per polling unit basis. We simply did it across all of the observations that we obtained across the entire country. And we are very conscious that the Electoral Act provides a very important legislative basis and framework that.
Thank you very much to you. I can see Dr. Osita Anyemeka, a professor of international diplomacy and a proprietor of renowned Open University in Africa. Dr. Osita, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Dr. Johnson. I'm glad to be here. Hi, colleagues.
And you've listened to the international presentation. That was supposed to be the preliminary observation, and they have all said it was shortchanged and even short of the standard of Nigeria. And I'm quoting them in some other clips. They said it was short of international standard, and more particularly short of Nigerian standard, and that was damaging. If you can especially read between the lines. Dr. Osita, what are your observations on the response of the international community to this declaration of Tinubu as the president-elect?
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Dr. Johnson. I think what we have done before now was to try to at least uphold some standards, no matter how low. Believe me, this has set the pace for how they will see Nigeria in the next 4 years, first 4 years. And then it also tells us what uphill tasks we have as Nigerians to overdo ourselves to become respected as we have always been. Every good thing that we have done as Nigerians have been done individually by Nigerians: sports, entertainment, diplomacy, business, international relations, and so on and so forth. Nothing has come to us from government. And for what we have done now to ourselves by rigging elections, by the chairman of the commission that's supposed to conduct it in the election being the prime point of rigging, makes it very clear to us that we have a country to salvage. Everybody's looking at us from different perspectives now. All my classmates who had known me for pride of my country, they've been calling me. Some of them say, I'm one with you because this is not your country. I'm one with you means that they used to know that we were better than this. Now we have gone to all-time low. All-time low means that we have to work so hard to resurface, to find a breeder for this country. We have to work so very hard to resurface.
How will you rate the British government tweeting to congratulate Nigeria and the American government using a spokesperson from the Department of State? I mean, how low could that be?
Yeah, you see, that confuses me all the time. It confuses me all the time. When things go wrong here, we say to our people, oh, in America, this cannot happen. I don't know, in the UK, this cannot happen because they are whatever. But recently, in the last 5-6 years, I have followed the tracks of these great nations, and I've seen that they had actually not been helping Nigeria. I can't imagine after every international observers statement on the last election, for us to have congratulations from these so-called big brothers. We were thinking that if we were going to have issues, that we're going to run to them. But already they had passed us as failure, because this is real mockery, and then they know that our country being what it is, this standard is lower than what we have ever seen. But believe me, Dr. Johnson, I think this is the time for us to take it in our hands. Let's do this ourselves this time, and then begin to amass intelligence for success.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sita. The People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party have decided to go to court. BD in Lagos, how seriously do you think the Nigerian citizens are taking the judiciary? You think everybody says yes, they will do it? Of course, everywhere is calm. So, I mean, the calmness is really, really intimidating, the general calmness. But Peter Obi said, let's go to court, let's defeat them in their own way. Do you have such confidence like Peter?
I don't have such confidence like Peter, and most Nigerians don't have such confidence. But Peter, being who he is, has been telling Nigerians that they will get their mandate. Let's go to court. Now, how do you expect me and millions of other Nigerians, mostly other young Nigerians, to have confidence on an institution that's openly announced a fourth position candidate as a governor of a state? How do you expect us to have confidence on an institution that gave a Senate?
Yeah, you are talking of Lawan, the present Senate president who never contested the primary.
Who did not contest for any primary, and they're not making a candidate. I think that was not enough. He won. Do you understand? There are a lot of reasons I can give you why I and millions of Nigerians don't have confidence on judiciary. Now, let me tell you, in few days, Obi has been assuring Nigerians that they should cool down. I think what he's trying to do, he doesn't want bloodshed. He doesn't want, unlike other people who don't care, they want millions of Nigerians to die as far as they achieve their selfish interests. Obi has been cooling a lot because Nigerians were ready to scull it out this time around, but he has been cooling them down. Now, I want to ask one question. If about, let me say, 150 million Nigerians cannot rescue this mandate, is it 12 Nigerians? Because, when we go to court, is that seven judges from Supreme Court and 5 from a Court of Appeal? I think I'm right. 12 of them. Is it 12 Nigerians that is going to restore the hope of Nigerians? I don't understand this.
Is on that question note. We'll go on a short break. When we return, Sir George, we're going to be asking you, how dependable is the Nigerian judiciary to handle this? We'll be right back.
Shengen Story magazine is an African international bi-monthly magazine Based in Milan, Italy, and founded in 2016, the publication focuses on personalities, fashion, style, entrepreneurship, and culture for Africans. Though articles on food, movies, fitness, music, travel, sports, technology, and books are also featured. Our lives full of best stories. A lot can happen in a month. Expand your mind, change your world. Etchen Again Story Magazine's full editions, celebrating Africans make an impact. Read better, the inside story. Your fashion magazine for a better lifestyle, inspiring stories for you. Your monthly dose of entertainment, a better mind keeping you updated.
Hashtag
Thanks for staying with us. It's still News Echoes, and we're bringing you world reports on the Nigerian announcement of President-elect Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Sir George, yeah, we're to come to you because at the end of the day, Bidi told us that it's going to boil down to the Supreme Court judges or Supreme Court justices, as they're called. In your own opinion, do you think Nigerians have confidence in the Nigerian judiciary?
Well, just like Billy mentioned, there has been so many instances that has really tainted the trustworthiness of the people towards the judicial system. One just happened not too long ago, during the Naira recoloring saga. We saw that the Supreme Court, brought out a mandate, and the president of the country, in his usual way, disregarded that and came and said something else. These are three arms of government that are supposed to be independent. So what the question is, and there have been so many instances where we have seen that the integrity of the judicial system in Nigeria has been compromised. So people are so disillusioned to the point where, it's almost like hopelessness, helplessness. They don't know where to go. They don't trust nobody anymore because it's a gang of a few cliques that hijacked the whole entire system in Nigeria. Recently, I was listening to a pastor, Adeboye, who said that 80% of the oil that we drill in Nigeria is sold illegally. Can you imagine 80%? That means that only 20% of the revenue from the oil is being used in the nation, and yet more than 50% to 60% of that revenue, of that 20%, is being stolen right in our own eyes. Buhari came out and cried corruption, corruption, corruption. But under him, more money has been stolen from this country than ever before because he is incapable to lead a nation like this. So what it is, and his final legacy has already been flushed in the toilet because he is not a real, I'm not going to go personal, but anyway, the world knows, what just happened with the election. For him to openly come out and I believe, now this is my personal opinion, I'm not supposed to say it, when Emelakon and all these things that were being shouted, it is my turn, it is my turn, it is my turn. Who knows what behind closed doors? So we don't speculate in this platform, but there is no smoke without fire, because we saw the trending and the transition from where he was before until the current president-elect started talking about more like going against him. So something was amiss and something was about to be exposed, and the current president just gave in last minute. And then also, if we cannot trust somebody like INEC chairman, who came out openly, who went to Chatham House on an international platform, lied to the whole entire world, and even in the process of the election itself, came and lied to the citizens of Nigeria a few days before the election, and then finally just turned around and started doing his own thing. How can we trust the judicial system? Because I will call the judicial system, as we speak, a kangaroo system until they are able to withstand what is going on and give a verdict after the proof has been given to them, in order to clean their faces. Because as far as I'm concerned, there is no more trust in Nigeria. Everybody is disillusioned. We are all completely disillusioned about what happened. It's very unfortunate.
Let me ask you one quick question, Sir George. The Nigerian society in the last few days have been calm. Is this the new Nigeria? I mean, in the face of indiscipline, in the face of obvious robbery, an obvious robbery because is unintelligible how Gombe and Bauchi could have the same result, full result, and yet the people have been very calm in wanting to know how to handle this. Is this the new Nigeria we are now seeing?
What you're seeing is a quick reaction usually results to nothing.
Okay.
What you're seeing is they are about to respond. Nigerians, after the saga of what happened in Lagos several months ago, when a lot of young children were massacred unnecessarily, none of them carried any weapon, none of them carried any kind of gun whatsoever. It was a civil protest, and they massacred NSAS, they massacred thousands of them, lied to the international world that nothing happened. Behind went and paid all the people that they killed their children to shut them up. Nigeria is now, these youths are not silent. They are putting together their own response to the whole entire thing. So let nobody fool anybody and think, oh, well, maybe because nothing is happening. Yeah, people, what we're trying to do is a civil society. We're trying to show, because if we go out there and start destroying things, destroying buildings, and then what can be the difference between us and the government? So they're trying to be mature in their approach. But don't be fooled by the silence of the people, because they are coming to. Let me tell you something. If you know the extent of the disillusionment of the whole entire, especially the youths in Nigeria, and even the international, those diasporians, many were planning to move back to Nigeria if the mandate of the people has been given. Many, I'm talking about thousands and thousands. You should have seen an exodus of thousands of Nigerian professionals going back home. Has the mandate of the people, but now it's just, so the disillusionment is not only within, it's without, outside of Nigeria. I am telling you. So a lot of them that ran out of Nigeria, that are facing difficulties, trying to, acclimatize and get themselves used to the foreign ways of doing things, they were all hoping that finally God will grant us our wish and give us a new structure in Nigeria, an uncorrupt structure. Right now, everybody is just back to back to where they were before. It is sad.
Massive sad. European governments and indeed Western governments in general, they tend to look the other way when they see such malpractices that, number one, will be unimaginable on their own soil. Number two, will lead to jailing everybody that will be involved in such a malpractice. I live in England, and if you are caught spending more than necessary allocated money for your electoral process, you go straight to jail. If you are caught using medium that is sectional, you go straight to jail. Now, when it comes to African countries, they just turn the other face. And like Rishi Sunak said, we hope our two countries will increase in economic issues and developmental processes. And it appears, I say it appears, that they overlook the electoral malpractices and just want to continue business as usual. Why is the international community not responsible for international morality? And later will complain of corruption.
Hypocrisy, Dr. Shagun. And that's why we, from the onset, we've said it on this platform, it's time to also boycott this international relationship thing. Because what's the essence of coming
possible?
Yes, what's the essence of coming to monitor an election and you still can't spill out the truth and see how change something can be done? So it's all hypocrisy. You see that the world is full of deceit. Government, people, leaders, everybody is full of deceit. Now, Biden, the American president, has not spoken, and they know the truth. And they sent some ambassadors, some delegates to come and monitor. So what's the essence of coming to monitor us if you're not going to assess things properly and probably bring a change? But before I go on, it's also wise we listen to the LP presidential candidate, Peter Obi, yesterday gave an address. And I think it's, do you agree, Dr. Shagun?
Yeah. Bring it on for maybe a minute or so.
Please be assured that Dati and I, and indeed all of us, this is not the end, but the beginning of the journey for a birth of new Nigeria. Dati Baba Ahmed and I remain absolutely undaunted and deeply committed to the project of a new Nigeria that will be built on honesty, transparency, fairness, justice, equity. All the above starts with the process. The process through which people come into office is far more fundamental, more important than what they do thereafter. It's my belief, and I've maintained so consistently, that if you must answer His Excellency, the process through which you arrive to office must be excellent.
Well, that
sums it out.
Yeah. So we call people honorable members of House of Reps when they are actually dishonorable. We call people distinguished members of Senate when they're actually undistinguished. We call the president His Excellency when actually the process that has brought him has not been excellent. That was from Peter Obi. And well, we'll just have to ask the man in the seat of power in Abuja, Dr. Osita, to what understanding do we have concerning the process the PDP and Labour Party leadership want to go to court? To what understanding do they have concerning the judiciary of Nigeria? Many people have written off the Nigerian judiciary, especially the Supreme Court. We saw how Chief Justice Onoge was removed for certain things. We saw how many justices of the Supreme Court have been challenged in the past, and they say, well, let's go there. Somebody told me, he said, well, let them make a mockery of themselves again. Would that be a good way to look at it?
It was Sir George that said this last meeting. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Go on.
Okay, yeah, I think it was Sir George that said it in our last meeting, that if somebody says to you, go to court, he's saying that you can go to hell, because what he means is that he's in control of the court. Yes, you can, but let me very quietly inject this, and I want this written down in our diaries. The next steps, yes, we're talking about going to court. The next steps, the youth of Nigeria are not going to go on the streets again. The youth of Nigeria, they're not going to engineer any policeman or any soldier to shoot them again. So what is happening now, this is very privileged. What is happening now is that the real steps have been taken. They started since in January, because if you're not intelligent enough to see that something like this was going to happen, our young people they were ready for this. So the plan is on. P2B has to take the obvious legal steps, which is get a lawyer, but the real plan is on. And what it is that they're not going to retire anymore until the mandate is won. And believe me, whether Tinubu stays 1 year in office, 9 months, 6 months in office, before it happens, it's going to happen. The things we're expecting to happen, that nobody knew could happen before. P2B leaving PDP, P2B raising Labour Party from the dust of the phoenix. Nobody expected any of this. So what we are doing, it's steady, it is upright, and it's in the future. Let nobody despair. This is not over.
We understand that there are 50 members of Labour Party in the National Assembly now. Is that correct? Up to 50 members of the Labour Party in the National Assembly, either in the Senate or in the House of Reps. People
yes, that's what we had. That's true.
That's what we have.
Nobody from zero, isn't it?
Yes, from zero. Let me also say that Labour Party has pulled up
exactly.
Okay. Labour Party has, one of the biggest progressive moves for a political party in Africa. From nowhere, Labour is on board now. In fact, some members of PDP are saying it in the truth of their word, that it's all over for PDP. And it's obviously all over for APC. But APC is playing this strongman game, but the strongman will obviously be played out soon. Yes.
Okay. I wanted to say something.
Sir George. Yeah, go on.
The next move now, even with their disillusionment and disappointment over this whole thing, is now the gubernatorial election that is happening on the 11th.
Yeah, okay.
We want to encourage people, especially in the states where, for instance, Delta State, Enugu State, or is it Ebonyi, and Abia State, Lagos State. We want you people, all the youths and everyone, as disappointed as you are, you have to take the bull by the horn. Go out again and vote, making sure that any possibilities in any of the states that you put a Labour Party individual there. This is our encouragement. I know you are disappointed. The world is already seeing how disappointed the whole entire Nigerians are over this election. But while the process is going on, the only way you can help this process in order to restore that mandate that was, illegitimately taken away is by electing the governors that you can as Labour Party, because this is the only move you can make now that will be a wise move. If you sit at home again, just like things were in the past, what you are doing is taking the and giving back to them. You got to get up again. You got to sacrifice for your own country. It doesn't matter when you go there and get killed. Just go. You've been disenfranchised by this man called Mahmoud Yakubu. But you go again in these states and make sure that you are an LP Labour Party governor. That is the way your voices will be heard and your voices will be protected eventually. It's a new structure. Nigeria. Nothing good comes easy. It took so many decades for this corruption to reach this particular apex. You can change it. Your votes can change it.
You can imagine
and fight.
Labour Party having 12 Labour Party having 12 states as governors, because Obi won in 12 states. So if they can replicate it, then there will be 12 Labour Party governors, if they can replicate it. But may I also add that it's not only just the governors they should aim. Every state assembly position, they should give them the Labour Party majority, so that the governor and the state assembly will be in charge of the state. It is doable. They've just shown us in the last election. Now, Bidi, we have to ask you, is that a big task in Lagos State? Unmute yourself.
No, she's on
From the studio.
Okay, all right then. Okay, yeah, okay.
It's a big task because of what Lagos State's APC has decided or have resorted to. It's not a big task to Nigerian.
Well,
or to young Nigerians. APC has been going door to door, chat to chat, threatening people. This threat, I'm telling you, is not just a matrix.
Yes, but they can't kill everybody. Will they kill all the youths? I mean, we got to overcome all these threats, you know. They can't kill everybody.
Voted out assured you that they will.
Well, your audio is bad. We can't hear you. Unfortunately, we'd like to hear Bidi from Lagos, but her audio is bad. I have to come back to you, Dr. Osita. With this stress she's mentioning, is it that big? I mean, when you are in Nigeria, somebody threatens you, and then you are going to succumb. Is that what it is? Osita.
I think they all have network.
I think it might have been having issues. Listen.
Can anyone hear me?
Okay, yeah, Bidi is back.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you, yes.
Okay. Is she still speaking?
No, go ahead, Dr. Osita. We can hear her.
Okay. The fear factor has been used all over the world for centuries. It's been that. It has always been that, fear factor. They come up there and tell you how prepared they are to torture you, how prepared they are, to make you disappear, how prepared they are to make your voices never to be heard. But still, revolutions win, because revolution also is a plan on its own. What is going on in Nigeria now is that we have accomplices in the right places for them. Believe me, if in all this plan, INEC chairman said no, like some of his staff in the states said no, some of them in Rivers, some of them in Delta, they said no. People came to them with bags of money in international currencies. They said no. But in his own case, 200 million naira shows how poor he is. 200 million naira, $200 million for a professor is nothing because he's a first class citizen already. He can earn that by reputation, by wealth of money. But the issue is that people are using the object of fear to make you think that you are nothing. It is not possible that if we said no collectively, that Tinubu would have been declared. Because, yes, because that poverty of the spirit has created the impossible nature of a country that we used to love so much. Look at what we do here. I always talk about it all the time. Look at what we do here. Every week we come twice to profess solutions and suggestions on how Nigeria can be better. People are listening. They're making notes. But the problem with it is that for those of them who are making notes, who know what to do, they are so scared. They are so scared. What stops somebody who has been elected as a president to say, no, I cannot continue with this because this is not what I was elected to do? P2B had done it before. But now they're saying no because they are scared of the man. Yes, sir.
Massive Mark,
Yes,
do you want
Dr.
to
Johnson.
strengthen people in Nigeria who are watching us right now to say that, look, if the majority of the people do not want Sanwo-Olu and APC in Lagos, so be it, or the Labour Party governorship candidate, Rose Viber, is a Lagosian and he has a geographical spread across Lagos. Is that possible to say, look, nothing can happen to you? In fact, your future is more secured. I mean, so the usual pressure in Lagos State will be, let's scare them. Why should they be scared in their own country? Massive man.
Why should anybody be scared in their own country? But first of all, let's say this to Nigerians, the youths and everybody that has gone through this election. Yes, we know you're going through what we call post-trauma stress, disappointment in a huge scale. But this is our life. And one thing about life is you get down, you get broken down, you stand up and you keep moving. It is these things that make us who we are. Nigerians are dynamic, strong people. We don't let anything break us down. So to the youth, 11th of March is another time to vote. Really, we need to come out again and vote. A lot of people might say, oh, we're saying this because we're on air and maybe we're not in the ground with them. But we know what it is to go through pain too. Nigerians in diaspora go through a lot of pain to send remittance to their families in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you, Mark. I'm just mindful of the time. Sir George in Canada, do you want to tell those watching us that victory is only sweet when they send off those old governors away?
Something good like this can never be that easy, but I want them to be yes, it's resilience. Your resilience is going to change the structure and bring the mandate that you have voted for this last time. Just because there is a little delay, that does not mean that there is a denial. If you see what Obi has achieved in this little time, then I am asking you, stand up, go, vote again.
Bidi, I can see your
Put the
hands
governors
up.
and the House of Reps in there.
Bidi, last second talk. Bidi, you are frozen. You are in Lagos. You are not supposed to be frozen. The people voting in Lagos must not be frozen. We want them. We want to know what the majority are saying in Lagos, not what the thugs are saying. So people like Oluomo, who has come out to harass, should be put in their cage. And it's only by going out to vote. Don't listen to thugs. They can only threaten. They can't make it happen. Well, we have to leave it till Wednesday when we come again, and mainly we'll be talking about Nigeria. I want to thank my colleagues all over the world. We don't have much time anymore. And somebody wrote me just now. It says, when Ashiwaju said, it is my turn, it is my turn, it is my turn. It says, the Heavenly Father says, overturn, overturn, overturn. That's how we leave it today until next Wednesday. My name is Shegun Johnson. God bless you all.